Zero Wagon Master here. Today's video is going to be titled Do You QSL? And I've been going through some of these are the QSL cards that I have left. I had a couple boxes full of these from back in the day, and about the mid 80s when I threw my CB Radio temper tantrum, I threw away just boxes of radios, microphones. I threw away a DNA Raider linear amplifier. I threw away what I thought was to be all of my QSL cards at the time. However, one box survived, and I'm glad it did. This is what I have left, and I like going over these every great once in a while, and just checking things out, just kind of, revisiting old memories. I like to collect state cards. I have cards from Europe and out of the different various parts of the world. But what I really liked were these hand-drawn cards. Stuff like this. Or they would hand-draw them, have them printed. Then you kind of have a little bit more professional type card. Up in Seattle, Eskimo 6918, that was a big station back in the day. That was kind of neat, working in Wyoming from Salt Lake City. We don't get to do that very often. April Sidebanders card. And I just like the artwork. There were some really beautiful cards that people were putting out back in the day. This is one of my favorites. Oregonians recently sighted a UFO. It's the sun. Anyway, pretty neat stuff. There is a card from Cool Change out in Hawaii, Big Daddy Bass. Talked to him a couple times and QSL'd him twice. One of those cards is from the late 70s, early 80s, and then one other one's from the, I think the two down below it are from the mid 80s, before I threw my tantrum. But yeah, these are pretty cool. So I'd like to get some new cards printed, quite honestly. And I don't really know any artists. And maybe one of you guys can help. Some of the cards that I really liked, not only the hand-drawn cards, but these more professional cards from CBC Club, Lexington, North Carolina, if you guys know anything about that. These cards were pretty high-grade cards. And I usually keep these separated. Worldwide Undertaker is one. CBC, it's one of my favorites. Here's another one of my favorites. Blue Fox and Lady Blue Fox. This is a CBC card. And just the quality of these were unbelievable. Just a really nice job. I have a lot of this guy's cards. No, I didn't know I had 3 of them. That's interesting. I liked how they would put what they were using on there, Got the SBE console, Moonraker. I always thought that was kind of cool. Coming over here. I like these a lot. Okay, so these generally date back from about 1978 to the early 80s. And back then I shared a P.O. box with a radio friend here in Salt Lake City. And here's one of my cards that I made in Media Arts when I was about 15, almost 16 years old. P.O. Box 9233, Salt Lake City. Okay? Well, this is what's kind of interesting. All those years later, moved away from Planet Utah, lived a life up in Washington State, came back to Salt Lake City July of 2019, went to the same post office that I had my original QSL or P.O. box at, and got another P.O. box for mail transfer and everything. And I'm like, wow, that number looks familiar. What? I'm like, wow, that's kind of close to my old one. So anyway, the guy hands me my keys and everything, and I walk over to my new P.O. box, 9223, Salt Lake City 84109. My old one is right next to it. I'm like, that is freaking eerie, man. So there's a sign going on there. And I just thought that was kind of cool. Some of these guys would really go into it. I got some mail from DNA Manufacturing. Some of these guys got really into it, I thought, and sent me like a full-on packet. So I QSL'd this guy back in 79, it was. Yep, June of 79. And this guy must have owned, he owned his own business and medical manufacturing. And so he had his secretary, and it says here in the letter, he's having his secretary write this up for me. And then, of course, he signs it. Come on, Mike. And really cool. Very interesting QSO, too. But in that packet came that letter. I don't get it. A copy of his driver's license. Not really sure about that. And then another QSL card. And he was running a Siltronics 1011D and 5/8 wave ground plane. Yeah, June 1st, 79. Yeah. And then some stickers. One sticker is missing, and I believe that is the sticker on here. Anyway, I thought that was kind of cool. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, so I bought my Golden Eagle Mark III from this old guy, Rocky Mountain Sidebander number 59. He lived about 100 miles south of me, out in the farmlands. I also got the Golden Eagle credit card that goes with that. And I bought a Golden Eagle Mark III, a set of Mark IIIs, a Glen 326 VFO, D104, and I paid $350 for that. That was my first road trip that I ever made when I got first got my driver's license. I mowed a lot of lawns for that radio. Still own it, by the way. So here's what I want to do. I want to QSL with some of you guys. And what I have to offer for the first 2 people that send me QSL cards. Now, they have to be CB Radio QSL cards, okay? They cannot be Hammy Ham QSL cards. Do not send me a ham radio QSL card. All right? Rest in peace, Johnny. This is my good friend Johnny Kiesel, who lived at my RV park for about 12 years. KE7V, big time 6-meter guy. Ran 1500 watts on 6 meters. In fact, if you look at some of my old videos from when I lived in Washington, you'll see his big giant monster 9-element beam up there in my backyard. But anyway, no Hammy Ham cards, please. Don't want anything to do with that. They have to be CB Radio QSL cards. I'll QSL something. I'll send back something. More than likely, maybe one of my modern cards. I printed these when I was up in Washington. I only have a couple of my very first ones that I ever printed left. Now, remember, this is 1978, 79, and I used to hang out on 505. And I've been at Channel 23 or pretty much forever. So what I'd like you to do is send me QSL cards to Breaker Broke 23, Post Office Box 9223, Salt Lake City, Utah 8410 and a 9. I'll send you something like this, and the first 2 that I receive from 2 parties, I will send you back a extremely rare Stoner owner card, unmolested. I won't sign it. I won't write anything on the back. Suitable for framing or laminating. These are super rare. These cards, well, when you would buy a Stoner Pro 40 CB radio, $1,000, $1,100 single sideband only radio, you would get a box of 100 QSL cards. And like it says on the back, confirming your contact with a Stoner owner. Yes, you talked to a Stoner owner. He probably warbled and didn't have very good audio. But that being said, this is really cool. So I will send you one of these and one of my other QSL cards. If I'm in a good mood and I find some vintage Utah State map cards. Maybe I'll throw one of those in too. Anyway, I used to sell these on eBay back in the day. I was an eBayer since day one, literally. And even back then, I would let one of these go like every 6 months. And even back then, I'd get $20 a pop for these. I think the last one I sold was about 2010, and I got close to $30 for it. Or was it 25? Don't really remember. But yeah, I've got about 84 of these puppies left. So these mean a lot to me. So you'll get one of these, you'll get one of my lane cards, and we'll just go from there. You know what was kind of cool was back in about 2010 era, I got on Googly one night on the internet, and I went through some of these that didn't have P.O. boxes. Like this one. And some other ones. And I would Google search them and see if there was like an antenna on the roof still or something, you know? Just I don't know, it was weird. And I found one. There was a guy in right here. I'm not going to put his address on here. But he was in Victoria Island, Canada, and by God, there was a ground plane on the roof of that house. I thought that was so cool. So either the guy's still into radio, it's got to be about 107 by now, but he's still into radio, or maybe that's one of those houses that's a rental unit by the family, or it's been sold over and nobody ever climbed up on the roof to take the antenna down. But by gosh, there was a ground plane on that guy's roof. I don't get that card, but that's cool. I'm not sure. I think I've heard this guy quite a bit back in the day since I got this card. But anyway, that's kind of cool. I love these hand-drawn cards. You know. So, one night, I was about 16 years old. I was on my Browning Mark III, and I was talking to this girl, and I can't find her card now, which really upsets me. It may be somewhere in some other stuff, but anyway, from Salt Lake City to Seattle, we had a pipeline during that DX cycle, and we were talking, and I says, "Well, yeah, why don't you send me a QSL card?" She's like, "Okay, I will." So we were talking, and I think we were about the same age at the time, and anyway, she says, "Yeah, I'm drawing your card up right now." And I says, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm just drawing it on the back of a index card." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." I'm thinking to myself, well, that's kind of cheesy because, here I am getting like real cards, right? And anyway, I got it, and she drew really neat, and it was really cool. And I sent her back a card as well. But I've always cherished that card, and I'm kind of pissed that I can't find it because I remember the QSO a little bit. And I just thought that was cool. Yeah, I'm drawing up your card right now. So these CBC international cards, or I'm sorry, CBC Club, P.O. Box 703, Lexington, North Carolina. Does anybody out there know about this company? Is this company still around? Do you have any history? Does anybody know anything about this? Because these were my favorites as far as like a commercially produced card. I loved these. I like collecting these. In fact, I look for those a lot. And do you know anybody that is doing this kind of artwork now? I would like to get some cards printed. I would like to start QSLing again. So tell me what you guys think about that. Would that not be cool? Get a P.O. box and start QSLing again. If you hear me on the radio, 390 Wagon Master or 390 Salt Lake City, I will QSL you. Just, hey Mike, send me a QSL, and I will do that. We'll figure out how to do it. I'm thinking maybe give me your email address, or if you have a P.O. box, and then I'll send it directly to your P.O. box. If you have an email address, I'll email you back, and send me your home address or whatever, and I'll send you some QSL cards. I think that would be so cool. And like I say, I'm on the hunt for somebody that produces some nice quality CB QSL cards. I want that look. I want that 70s look. No, none of this new fangled EQSL and all that kind of stuff. Alright, you guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate all my subscribers out there. This is awesome. I'm so glad that I can share my hobby with you guys, and there's other CB geeks out there as well that are into this. So it's really cool seeing our hobby grow like this. Thanks for watching, everybody. I look forward to your QSLs. Cheers. Sorry about the raw camera work here, but that's the way it is. All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.